house doing nothing and come in here about 20 minutes before the show started. Rush isn't feeling too great. He's resting up for Memorial Day weekend, and he will be back next week, fighting fit and ready to go. You know, Father's Day is coming up, and it's always difficult getting a gift for your dad, but the perfect one that keep him happy all year round is the Limbaugh letter. You go to rushlimbaugh.com, you'll see a button up there for the Limbaugh letter. You can get it in digital or print or both, and your dad will love it, because it's not just the great interviews that Rush does. And I mentioned George Papadopoulos. Rush is actually talking to him in the next issue. In the current issue, the one I've got for May, he talks to Brad Parscale, who's the Trump 2020 campaign manager. But it's not just that. It's all the, as I always say, you can just read all the small foot of the page items that he has in his news digest right up front in the beginning of the magazine, and all of them are like these portents of the times. They're the nutty stories that tell you what the left is planning for us for the day after tomorrow. It's a great way to get ahead of the dysfunction to come. Your dad will love it. The perfect Father's Day gift. It lasts all year round, and all you've got to do to get it is go to rushlimbaugh.com and click on the button that says the Limbaugh letter. I mentioned this business about Laverne Cox talking about, you shouldn't be saying woman's right to choose, because men now have the right. Everything is so fantastic now that men can get an abortion. And I was talking about it just before the bottom of the hour, said that you're not allowed to laugh at anything anymore. The future they're building for us is a land with no jokes whatsoever. There's a story in the Daily Mail, because you have to go to the foreign press to find out anything that's really going on. Teachers at a California high school have sparked outrage after appearing in yearbook photos wearing sombreros and sporting fake mustaches. So they look like the guys who say, we don't need no stinking badges in Treasure of the Sierra Madre. And one of them's dressed like a French tart, the lady teacher. She's presumably the French teacher. This is at San Pasqual High School in California. And all the others are dressed in sombreros with fake, droopy, supposedly Mexican mustaches. And it's not the best joke in the world. It's kind of harmless. The school's over 50% Hispanic. And some of these teachers are actually Hispanics. Two of them, the two male ones, are called Senor, and their four female colleagues are addressed as Senora. One of them, Ramon, he's an actual Hispanic, and so presumably he's entitled to put on a sombrero and a floppy mustache if he wants one, but not so. The Escondido Unified School District is up in arms about this thing, because Escondido is more than 50% Hispanic, and more than 60% of the students enrolled are Hispanic. And the principal, who also is Hispanic, has said, we owe an apology to our Latins, because they now spell Latino with an X at the end, don't ask me why, and Chicano community. It is unacceptable and has no place in our school. I am saddened and disappointed that this has happened, but we will use it as an opportunity to learn and grow together. Do you want to live? I asked this to the graduating class of 2019 in Escondido. Do you want to live in such a plonkingly humorless society? There will be no jokes in the future. Every joke will be bad. The school district doesn't like Hispanic teachers wearing sombreros. I interviewed the apple pie. I don't quite get there. I'm American as apple pie a la mode. It's just got a little foreignness drizzled all over it. And we can't do anything about that. But we do have a lot to talk about. We've been discussing the declassification of the materials relating to the national security states attempted subversion of the 2016 election. We got the Russian interferences. God bless them. All countries, foreign countries, interfere in the elections with other countries. You know, they all have their preferences. Obama did it with the Brexit thing. He stood on the steps of 10 Downing Street and said if the United Kingdom electorate was impertinent enough to vote for Brexit, then when it came to trading with the United States, they'd have to get to the end of the back of the line. You know, he put his thumb on the scale, but at least when he interfered in the Brexit referendum, he put his thumb on the scale in full view of the world. The national security state, the guys who know all your emails, all your texts, they put their thumb on the scale in the dank shadows, and they use their friends through, as one of our callers mentioned earlier, the Five Eyes intelligence sharing arrangement. And just to be clear what this is, I broadly support the Five Eyes program. I think it's a privileged relationship that recognizes, arising essentially out of the Second World War, that the alliance between the United States and the British dominions is of a closer order than almost any other relationship. So the Five Eyes is an intelligence sharing arrangement between the US, UK, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. But it's not meant to be a world unto itself. And the idea that the Five Eyes are, in the end, the duty of the U.S. intelligence services is to act in the interests of the U.S. people. And the interests and the duty of the Canadian intelligence and Australian intelligence is to act in the interests of their peoples. And the idea that this group of well-connected, you've read all the spy books, you've seen all the movies, you've seen all those scenes in the thrillers where somebody at CIA thinks they don't want it disappearing on a federal budget anywhere, so they'll outsource it to, quote, the cousins, unquote, as they like to call it. When I spoke with Papadopoulos for our interview, he uses all that lingo now.